Hello everybody and welcome to yet another Abyss and Imaginarium Theater review. Today we're taking a look at the 5.5 Abyss and Imaginarium Theater, or the April 2025 Abyss and Imaginarium Theater. Now, we're gonna be doing things a little bit differently, as it is the Eastern holidays right now, and I am on an absolutely completely scuffed setup. I don't even know if the mic is on the right way. We're talking that scuffed. And so I've decided to make it even more scuffed and not have a script. So we're doing this completely free, no script, and we're just gonna have some really nice fun. I've got the pictures of the enemy lineups here. Of course I've got just some normal background footage. That isn't a problem to record. But yeah, this whole thing is I said let's just lean into the scuffness and do it this way. So Abyss and Imaginarium Theater. Let's of course start with the Abyss. This Abyss, well, the previous one with Varesa, yeah, welcome back. It's fucking Natlan, Natlan character in the banners, and the trend continues because we have the Zilonen rerun, and you know very well the Abyss is going to be hell on earth because we have Natlan units, and they just want to push power creep to a really great extent, and this Abyss is not, this Abyss was hell. This Abyss did not steer away from the power creep, even if freaking Venti was in the banners, and you would have thought that maybe a half on floor 12 would have been a bit easier because of Venti. Hey, you know, if Mizuki, standard Anemo, very simple Anemo character, was in the banners and we made a pretty easy Abyss that was Venti friendly, honestly, well, shouldn't we make a Venti, Venti adjacent Abyss when he is rerunning? No, they said go fuck yourself, fully, and they made the Abyss cater to fucking Escoffier. Yeah, Escoffier, who's not rerunning for like 2+ weeks. So like, wow. So yeah, there's a lot of cryo damage bonus on floor 11, as is the floor that we are going to start, so you can definitely use that. But yes, there's a lot of cryo cater stuff, and sure, I mean, we did have recently rerunning, so I guess you could have grabbed a pretty decent cryo character, but my goodness, if you haven't played the Abyss, you're not ready for the amount of cryo you're going to need on some of these chambers. Anyways, yeah, this Abyss in general is one of the worst ones, and I believe this Abyss did break the records for floor 12 on HP, because they upped the multiplier. You would only know this, and this will come into effect later when we're talking about floor 12. You would not know this if you're not following leaks, but there's a very nice, if you're in the leak subreddit, you know that we have the Abyss screenshots that tell us the HP multiplier of the Abyss, and they just cranked it this time. They seem to not know exactly where they want to put this multiplier, and it just changes continuously from Abyss to Abyss, and this time it was, I think, to absolute max, like 375% of enemy HP, which is absurd. Just absolutely absurd. Now, it depends on the enemy lineup that you're going to put. Like, if you got some really basic enemies at 375% HP, it's not going to be a problem, but as you will see, it was not like that, so yeah, I think this Abyss did indeed just completely break the HP barrier for Abyss. Like, it is the highest HP pool ever, and it shows very well. Although I have tried, of course, multiple teams, and they all had very much varying amounts of success, which is not good, honestly. Anyways, let's start with floor 11. As said, this is a very cryo-catered Abyss, so there's a 75% cryo damage bonus, so use that if you want. But they decided to make floor 11 super Ventiable, because he's rerunning in the banners, which, I mean, fine, I guess, let's have some fun with our Venti. So, let's begin with 11-1, which is a monolith defense, and it is a pretty easy, simple one. The first half of 11-1 is just chock full of Natlan tribes people. Just a ton of them, like 24 of them, and they're just a big bunch. Any AoE, any Anemo CC, again, as I said, this is just a Ventiable floor 11, any CC or just any AoE of those sorts is going to completely easily take these guys out. They're simple, like Eremite reskins, the Natlan tribes people, so they don't really have any special attacks that you need to worry about. Again, any AoE, anything will just immediately make them vanish. And then for 11-2, you've got 3 enemies, 3 super basic enemies. You've got a Lava Churl, an Electro Lava Churl, because cryo. And then you've got a Ruin Guard and a Ruin Grader. They all spawn one at a time. You can easily take the attention of all of them, and they're not really much of a problem. This is a pretty easy monolith defense, and nobody should have any problems with it. Then to 11-2 we go, and this, oh my goodness, it begins. They said you're gonna have some fun with Venti this time, and oh my goodness. So 11-2 first half contains a total of 30, yes, 30 slimes, Hydro and Pyro slimes on the first half. 30 slimes, and it's just hell on earth. I mean, again, just a bit of AoE, just a bit of Anemo CC is going to very easily do this one. Like, it's not tough at all. Just don't put a Pyro or Hydro DPS like I did. I used my Ayato team because why not? I just want to use Ayato. But yeah, just don't use a Hydro Pyro main DPS. Again, just maybe bring a Dendro DPS, Geo DPS, or Anemo DPS. Like Ashgawa is of course going to be easily take care of this. It's floor 11 after all. And yeah, just have some fun with Venti is what they said, and they just put 30 slimes in there. You might need to, look at your Venti build, actually, in order to make him just absolutely take care of this on his own. But yeah, you might need some other teammates, of course, to take care of the elemental thing of the slimes. Hey, what can I say? Again, seeing 30 enemies was just my goodness. And the second half of 11-2 has 3 enemies. It starts with a Fontaine Mecha, followed by an Eremite Spirit Spawner, and then lastly, the Bird, the Vulture Consecrated Beast. Pretty simple, one at a time again. I mean, you're not really gonna waste a ton of time if you bring the right stuff for the first half, even with 30 enemies. So these guys are not gonna be anything. The Construction Mecha is super simple. The Eremite Spirit Spawner on floor 11 is not that much of a problem. And the Consecrated Vulture, it's not really that much on 11-2, and again, it's 11-2, so you do have some extra time for newer players. You're not limited to the 3-minute mark. And then we finish off floor 11 with 11-3, and my goodness, it continues. The Ventiable Abyss, oh my goodness. The first half, ladies and gentlemen, is full of Eremites, just some simple Eremites. There's 60 of them. They doubled down from 11-2, and there's 60 Eremites. They are super simple Eremites, as I said, so they die instantly, honestly. But my goodness, 60 enemies. 60 enemies on 11-3. Wow. Yeah, they really wanted to push the Ventiable Abyss here. But yeah, any Anemo CC, any AoE will easily take care of these guys, even if there are 60 of them. Like, you won't even notice that you've killed 60 of them. So yeah, super easy. And then 11-3 finishes off with the second half with a Wind Operative from the Fontaine region. She's a bit annoying, but not so much, honestly. She's easily taken care of. She's not the local legend variant as well, so she's easily taken care of. And then you finish off with a Fatui Electro Hammer and a Fatui Pyro Slinger. So you will need some Hydro and Cryo, because these guys are 1.0 enemies. They still have not fixed these guys to have more counters. So unless you use Hydro and Cryo specifically, you're not breaking these guys' shields. Now, it's 11-3, the first half should very much not take you a lot of time, so you can easily just brute force them with damage, but if you're having any trouble, if you're a newer player, you really need Cryo and Hydro. You cannot do it anyway else. They really want to push a Escoffier, which, if you have not followed leaks, I'm sorry, she's meant to be full Cryo and Hydro team, so that's why they're here. So, yeah, what can you do? If they're not gonna fix these enemies to have a little bit more counter from other elements, because they should, you're gonna need Cryo and Hydro if you're having a bit of trouble, because this is 11-3. You are now limited to the 3-minute mark if you're again a newer player, because older players like me, we're just gonna brute force these guys with damage, let's be honest. And that's floor 11. It's Ventiable. They full on went with the Venti Abyss, and then they also put a bit of Cryo in there because of Escoffier, and yeah, she's not running for 2 weeks at least, and that's dumb. That's very, very dumb. Anyways, it's a pretty easy floor 11. You might get scared by the 30 slimes and the 60 Eremites, but you'll very easily realize that, oh, I don't even realize that I've killed this many, so I'm just having fun. And then the second halves are super easy, one at a time enemies, so like, any team will take care of them, except for the Electro Hammer and the Pyro Slinger. Watch out for them, because you might, get annoyed that their shields are not breaking with anything else other than Hydro and Cryo. And let's go to floor 12. Of course, before we begin floor 12, we gotta talk about the buffs. Remember what I said last time? That these buffs are there to sort of counter the HP increase, the HP inflation, but it depends on the buffs there are. Well, this time, the buffs were completely useless. So you've got maximum HP increase on the enemies alongside completely useless buffs. So this is the absolute worst combo that you can get for the Natlan versions of the Abyss, which are just made to be power creep central. So, the first half has a elemental skill geo damage bonus. For whomst, I ask? What? I don't think, as far as I know, the live stream has not happened yet as of recording this voiceover, and I don't see a Navia rerun. So it is most likely they're gonna rerun Navia or Ito, I guess. But even then, only Navia can really use this for a ton of damage. So thanks. Ito barely makes use of this. Okay, Ushi's gonna be dealing a lot of damage, but you will see very well that unless you've got a really premium Ito team, you're not making these floors very easy. And then who else? Chiori? Albedo? I used Albedo and his skill barely increased in damage, so thanks. So yeah, this elemental skill, this geo damage is completely useless. If you tell me it's for Zilonen who's on the banners, no, because she doesn't deal skill damage. She's not there to deal damage. Even if she does skill damage, you're not using Zilonen as a damage dealer, so why is this here? And then the second half is even more useless because it is elemental skill cryo damage. So yeah, it's just like the Furina Abyss where they had the elemental skill hydro damage, which nobody uses. Guess what? Nobody uses nobody uses cryo skill damage. Like who? Generally who? Kaeya? Nope. Generally any cryo doesn't really make use of this except for a Scoffier, which she's not running for 2 weeks. So why? I know we made the Abyss reset every 16th of a month, which is super dumb. But they made an Abyss cater to a character that is not coming in 2 weeks, and the buff is literally useless for everybody except for her. This is so dumb. So yeah, useless buffs with the max HP multiplier. This is insane. And guess what? The enemy lineup is hell. So, let's begin now that we've absolutely complained about these stupid buffs. Let's talk about the enemy lineup, shall we? So, 12-1 starts really, really well, with the first half of 12-1 being the Hydro Tulpa. Oh, and yeah, I need to mention this. The entire floor 12, they do not want you to use Nuviled. They really did not want you to use any Hydro. Any at all. Even though Scoffier needs Hydro characters. But yeah, they really hated Hydro's guts with this one. So the first half, again, is the Hydro Tulpa. It's not the worst boss, but with the HP multiplier, this thing feels like it has a billion HP. For this one, you need to take care of the fact that... you need to take advantage of the fact that it's constantly affected by Hydro, so use Pyro carries, honestly. That's your main way. Or, of course, as I said, Navia, if she reruns, is gonna be able to do Crystallize and get her stacks and whatnot. But, yeah. Honestly, for me, the best team was Double Geo Hutao with Official in there. Because my Official has Elegy for the End, which is in the banners because of Venti, and I do suggest Elegy for the End for your support because it is an amazing weapon. Official with Elegy for the End, plus Albedo's with Double Geo with Zhongli, plus Albedo's EM buff through his ultimate, my Hutao shredded the Hydro Tulpa. So yeah, any Pyro carry should do really well against this. If you got, the right buffs and the right stuff, you should be good. If you, let's say, want to bring an Arlequin or somebody else, you most likely will need a Bennett. Let's say if you got a Katsuha, to swirl Pyro easily, to get the buffs and everything. But yeah, Hydro Tulpa, not the toughest boss, but my goodness, because it is the maximum HP multiplier, this thing does not go down. You're gonna need to brute force a lot of damage through some really good teams. I also did this thing with my premium Xiao team, and it did really well. I don't have Xiao Yun, but it is like Furina, C6 Faruzan, and everything, so it is a pretty good Xiao team. I did it with Xiao, it did well, but that Hu Tao team, double Geo Hu Tao, with the EM buffs from Fischl and Albedo, deleted this thing really easily. And then the second half of 12-1 is hell. It's literally hell. So the second half begins with an Abyss Lecter of Electro Abyss Lecter, followed by the Seahorse boss from Fontaine. And this combo is hell. It's literally hell. I hate this thing, and I think a lot of people hate this second half. Thank fuck it's 12-1, so you can reset and restart this chamber tons of times with different teams, but my goodness, fuck this combo. I hate this combo. The Abyss Lecter on his own is not that much of a problem, although it feels like his shield does not take any fucking damage, honestly. I genuinely had to bring 3 cryo characters plus a Bennett or a Kazuha in order to do the second half, like with my fastest times, I think. Because I simply did not have the cryo to break both of the shields. The Elector is one problem, but fuck the Seahorse. And the problem is that you've got the Lecter before the Seahorse. This fucking Lecter eats up your energy, and he doesn't just eat up the energy of the on-field character when you get hit. It eats up the energy of everybody. So you're gonna waste your bursts and stuff destroying the Lecter's shield, and then you're gonna try to funnel particles everywhere in order to prepare for the Seahorse to break its pearl, but then the Lecter will hit you, and then goodbye energy. And you'll say dodge the attacks, but some of the attacks cannot be dodged easily, and you're gonna need to stick to the Lecter in order to deal damage, right? So the attack that he's got with the orbs that fly from around him and the homing orbs from above him, good luck fucking dodging that while trying to break this fucker's shield in a timed challenge, right? Like, it's so fucking annoying. If it was just the Lecter, or hell, if it was 2 Lecters, I would easily take 2 Lecters than this shit. But you waste your energy. You try to funnel some particles in order to prepare for the Seahorse, but then you get fucked, and then the Seahorse spawns. And then, holy fuck, this thing just does not want its pearl broken. Like, holy shit, it takes so much cryo to break the pearl. And good luck, because the Seahorse has a ton of animations in its attacks that make it float around like a bastard, so you cannot get hits in. And then, oh my goodness, this made me get so angry. Genuinely, I was so fucking angry fighting the Seahorse because it is completely coded. It is absolutely intentionally designed that when you get the pearl to low HP, it's gonna fly up and do the bullshit attack where it spawns three petals things in the ground, and you gotta break those in order to stun it. And like, it wastes all of your time. Now, depending on your time on the Hydro Tulpa, it's not the end of the world, but because it is, again, intentionally designed that it's only going to do that move when you get the pearl to low HP, it can suck me off genuinely. And this is the problem with the energy that I said, because if you don't use your bursts that have lots of hits to break the pearl quickly, you're gonna get until you get your energy for your bursts, because the Lecter aided, until you do that, you're gonna get the pearl to low HP, and then it's going to fly up and waste your time. Oh my god, it's so annoying. I hate this thing. Now, funnily enough, the way I did this floor in one of my best times was the double Geo Hutao that I told you with Fischl on the top, and then just as much Pyro as I could on the bottom half. Because what can I do? Literally, like, how much cryo, man? Like, there's some really good cryo support that you can use against this thing, but good luck. Genuinely, good luck. And I just don't have them built. So I tried Pyro, and it actually did well, because there's plenty of Pyro characters that are not reliant on bursts. So I used Toma with a bunch of energy. I used Arlecchino, because he's, of course, not burst reliant. And then I used Bennett and Kazuha, of course, for buffing Arlecchino, so that she can deal a bunch of damage, but then to also swirl, to infuse Kazuha's burst. And it actually did amazing, because these guys, again, especially with my Toma being super energy build, I actually have Thomas Burst, and I have a lot of Pyro hits. And yeah, instead of doing the stupid Geo-Cryo thing they wanted me to do, I just went with double Pyro carry, and I said, fuck you. And it actually worked, so I do suggest that. If you don't have just a bunch of Cryo, which I did genuinely try, Kaeya, Ayaka, and the Risley all together, which did okay. If you don't have that, or if you're having trouble with energy on your Cryo characters, because some of them can be really energy hungry, or of course the Electro with its shield up, you cannot proc Sacrificial or Favonius weapons, try Pyro, honestly. Just a bunch of Pyro, as much Pyro as you can. But yeah, they want you to use a Scoffier, which is skill-based. She is skill-based on her Cryo application. Go fuck yourself is what I say. Fuck the Seahorse, fuck this chamber. Generally, it made me so angry. Because of the HP multiplier, and the bullshit with the Lector eating up your energy and needing to also break the Seahorse and the Seahorse's Peril, which, by the way, you break the Seahorse's Peril and it just gets up. It doesn't get stunned at all. It just gets up like nothing ever happened. The Pearl is there just so that it has a bunch of resistances, a bunch of damage reduction, which is absolutely bullshit, which is the other problem with the HP multiplier. Sure, you've multiplied the HP of the enemies. The Hydro Tulpa does not get resistances unless it absorbs the small Hydro things that it spawns. But the Seahorse has resistances from the get-go, and the Pearl is so tough to break that the effective HP of the enemy is skyrockets. And you feel it. You just feel how much time you need to take to kill this thing. Fuck the Seahorse, generally, I cannot tell you just how much I hate this thing. So yeah, you're gonna need some really good clears on the Tulpa. Take advantage of the fact that it's Hydro infused. I don't know how much Hyper Bloom is going to help you unless you've got some really good Hyper Bloom teams. Maybe Nilu can do some decent job against this, but Pyro is the easy one. I did try my Alhai Thumb team, and it did okay, but nothing compared to my double Geo Hutao with Fischl, Giga buffing Hutao with EM. So try that, and then on the bottom half, if you don't have a bunch of Cryo built, a bunch of Cryo characters, I would suggest just a bunch of Pyro. But genuinely, you cannot do this with like a combination. I tried my Risley team with Risley, Kaeya, and then John and Bennett, because the John Bennett combo is a pretty good combo for Pyro application. It did not do good. It generally did not do good, and I think you will see it on the background footage. That combo did not do good, even though it has really good elemental application. It struggled against this motherfucker, against the Seahorse. It did okay against the Lector, but fuck the Seahorse, not at all. So I cannot even suggest like a normal comb. I tried Ayaka because her burst is a lot of hits. Not at all, because Ayaka is so energy hungry. Now, against normal enemies, I do fine with my Ayaka team, because Kaeya is really good at funneling energy to Ayaka. Not at all. Not at all. And I also have to say something. I don't know if I'm cheating. This will sound really wrong. I don't know if I'm exactly cheating, but I first played the Abyss on a friend's PC because I was away from my own PC. And it felt like hell to play this Abyss, especially the Seahorse and the Lector. But when I came back to my PC, now I use the FPS unlocker. I play Genshin at a higher FPS using the FPS unlocker. And by the way, no, it's not bannable, and I would suggest using it if you have a high refresh rate monitor. It felt kind of better, but as far as I know, FPS should not alter the game's logic. It does not alter the game's logic unless you're playing Ganyu or Ayato, which, as far as I know, does have a bit of an effect, but maybe just the game responding better to my inputs made it easier to deal with these guys. I don't know. You could test it if you want. I ain't. But yeah, it kind of felt better playing with the FPS unlocker against this Abyss. It was still hell, but I don't know. I just wanted to mention this just so that I, if anybody points it out in the comments that I'm cheating because of the FPS unlocker, then unlock it yourself. But yeah, so maybe Ganyu with the FPS unlocker could break this thing faster, although I doubt. Anyways, that's 12-1. It is hell, and things, ladies and gentlemen, do not get better. They only get worse. They only get worse from this. Again, thank fuck it's 12-1, and honestly, this is the worst of the chambers, so thank fuck again it is in 12-1, so that you can reset with lots of teams, but it's not fun. Not fun at all. Fuck the Lector Seahorse combo, I hope it never appears again. Which moves us to 12-2, and things, as I said, get pretty worse. The first half is the automaton from Natlan, our favorite boss, ladies and gentlemen. Zilonen is in the banners, so we gotta make you use her with the fucking pillars. Anyways, fuck this boss. Simple as that. I've expressed my annoyances with this boss, even if there are ways to cheat the pillars. The fact that it takes no damage, once again, like the Seahorse, the effective HP it has because of its resistances, plus the HP multiplier, make this thing feel like it does not take any damage, and it has billions of HP. The main fact is that, yeah, you can cheese the pillars, but it's not going to drop its resistances until it does the pillars attack and you break them, so you need Natlan in order to feel the natural bar it's got, in order to actually make it do the pillars attack quickly. I'm gonna keep my tips for this chamber until we get to the last one, because it's kind of similar to the first one. You'll see what I mean. But fuck this boss. I hate this boss. And the problem is, with the Hydro Tulpa in the first chamber, right, you might think, okay, maybe one of the characters that you like from Natlan is Ororon. I have Ororon built because I like using him with my Nuvilette, right? But Ororon is based on Electrocharged. And while I can easily use Ororon in the first half because I've got the Hydro Tulpa, so I can use maybe Hutao, I can do Overvape, I can do something like that. Once I bring Ororon in the second chamber with the Automaton, I don't have Hydro, because I cannot bring Hydro because the Hydro Tulpa is on the first half, on the first chamber. So Ororon is completely useless, because he only does Night Soul damage when he does Electrocharge, because that makes sense. So even if maybe one of the Natlan characters that you liked, and maybe the only character that you liked is Ororon, fuck yourself. Go fight yourself, because you're going to need to bring a Hydro character in the first half, in the first chamber, who's going to be completely useless against the Hydro Tulpa, just so you can do Electrocharged on the second chamber. And again, I'm gonna keep this tip for the last chamber, because it's very similar to the first, you'll see. But yeah, like, Ororon is honestly the only character that I've built on Natlan, except for Kinich, which you're not really gonna be using Kinich against the Hydro Tulpa, and I tried Kinich against the Automaton, and I fucking hated, because holy shit, they coded it, so, like, it's coded so that the things that spawn on the top of the pillars of the Automaton, Kinich can grapple onto them. He can attach himself to those. So, like, you want to do your grapple move with Kinich to get on top of the pillars, but then you end up attaching to the pillar thingy, and now it's completely fucked. So you cannot even bring Kinich to this thing. Anyways, fuck the Automaton. With the resistances and the HP of the HP multiplier, it feels like it takes no damage. My Xiao did okay against this, but again, keeping things for when we finish the last chamber. Second half of 12-2 is pretty simple, thank fuck, although it's a bit iffy. It starts with a mecha from Fontaine, super simple, dies quickly. Then it's followed by a fluid avatar of lava. It's the one that is constantly pyro applied. So the pyro strategy that I told you for the Seahorse does not carry to this, because you're not going to be dealing a lot of damage to this thing because it has, pyro resistances. But take advantage of it. Of course, again, they want you to use Hydro Cryo with Escoffier to vaporize this thing. Wow. And then last enemy is a Wayob Electro version. So once again, Electro Propaganda because of Cryo stuff, because they want you to push Escoffier, and oh my goodness, with the Automaton on the first half taking so much time to kill, adding a Wayob here is just a kick in the nuts, honestly. And it's not the toughest thing, but I've told you how much I fucking hate Wayobs. Their whole bullshit. I think this one actually does not immediately start with the arena, spawning the arena to eat up your energy. So it's kind of better, but it's still a fucking Wayob. I absolutely hate it. They're just complete time wasters. It is Electro, so it is a Wayob Electro. It doesn't fully matter when it has its shield up, its arena out. It's sort of a true damage shield. but once the arena expires and you have not taken care of its shield, it will turn into an electro shield. Anyways, yeah, just use any kinds of elemental hits to take down the shield. Cryo and Pyro are recommended, but again, it's a true damage shield, so it will take damage from any kind of source when the arena is out, but it's bullshit with eating up your energy is, of course, a general thing that I hate with way ups. And of course, Escoffier, as I said, is skill-based. She doesn't need her burst to apply cryo, so of course there's a way up that eats up energy, and it doesn't matter for her. Yay! This chamber also sucks. The automaton is absolute bullshit, as of course we all hate this boss. I don't think there's any fucking person in this world that likes this boss because it's completely gatekeeping. While the second half is fine. It starts off fine with some enemies, but then the way up it's its own bullshit, so hey. But it is not the worst of the worst, but still really, really bad. Which moves us to 12-3. So, 12-3 is basically 12-1, but not with bosses. The 12-3, the first half, starts with 2 Oceanid boards, which just immediately vanish, honestly. And then it follows up with 2 Oceanid or Eidolon, Hydro Eidolon local legends. Yay! These things just have so much HP. It is an absolute just... Holy shit, it's a fucking Herculean task to get these things to die. They just feel like they have so much HP. Oh my god. But yes, this is exactly 12-1, but without the boss. But even then, these local legends are hell. Now, these guys, when they are in floor 11, can be a bit of a problem, especially when they spawn together. And guess what? They spawn together on the same side, of course, in this abyss. But they are a problem in 11-3 where they are usually put because they deal a lot of damage and they have lots of HP. Now make that 12-3, and they are max level. With the HP multiplier, they deal a fuck ton of damage, and they just can easily chain stun you and just chain attack you, and they simply just don't die. Once again, my Hutao team absolutely pulled ahead like crazy here, because it's just a Hydro Tulpa but not a boss. But many teams will again do this finally, but again, the damage that you'll need is a lot. Again, these things feel like they do not... they take damage, but their HP bars just do not... They feel like they take forever to deplete. And this is where I want to bring the whole thing that I said with 12-2. Take these chambers one at a time. Or, focus on 12-1 and 12-3 with a Pyro carry, because you can easily do Vaporize on these things, and then just put another team for 12-2. That is... almost what I did, but that is exactly what I suggest you do. Genuinely. Put a Pyro carry like I did on 12-1 and 12-3 and just take your time with 12-2. And then, heck, I don't know what you're gonna do with with the Automaton. Bring Ororon, maybe bring a Xiao or something, or anybody that you've got that can cheese the Automaton, and just focus on that chamber. Focus on 12-2 and don't give a fuck about 12-1. That is what I suggest. Because 12-3, again, as I said, is very similar to 12-1, so you're gonna need teams for those, and then again, just focus on 12-2. Don't take, fuck pride, fuck anything, genuinely, just do it like that. One team at a time, one chamber at a time. Do not just rip your hair out for this stupid shit that they're making us do. They are completely ruining the Abyss, which honestly, I'll keep this for the end. I'll keep this rant for the end. Anyways, 12-3, yeah, Oceanid stuff, local legends, they just take so much time to kill. Thank fuck though, 12-3 is a bit simpler, but still not that good. 12-3 second half starts with 2 of the Chenyu Veil Beasts, which are fine. They're the small ones, not the big ones, so they die pretty easily. It then follows up with 1 Vishap, which takes a bit of time to kill. It's a Hydro version, so it is Hydro resistant. And then last is 1 Crocodile, 1 Consecrated Beast Crocodile. And once again, they just want to say fuck you to Hydro, even though Escoffier wants Hydro. But of course, Escoffier, takes down the resistances of Cryo and Hydro on enemies. So of course, but yes, there's a Hydro Crocodile heal. It's not the worst thing. But it and the Fish Cap can take some time to kill, honestly. The Fish Cap, the annoying thing with the Fish Cap is that it gets staggered. It constantly gets staggered, and it just gets out of, like, circle impact. If you've got Bennett or anybody, you're gonna easily see this thing get pushed away from the Bennett circle, and it's just mainly annoying. And then the Crocodile, it's most likely it's going to start with the attack where it just swims around and does some stupid attacks, which is very annoying, and it just eats up time. But it's thankfully an okay, simplistic half to compensate for the local legends on the first half. And that is floor 12. Fuck this Abyss. Fuck this Abyss, and here is where I definitely need to rant, because the people that do the Abyss, right, we are a very small percentage, right? And especially the people that want to 36-star the Abyss. We are an absolutely small percentage of players compared to the casual people that are not going to care a lot about the Abyss, right? So why the fuck are we making things annoying for that small percentage? Like, if they really just want to push the people that like the game's combat away, just fucking delete it. Just say we're not updating this shit anymore because we don't care. Why do they need to make things annoying? And no, it's not hard. I can understand a hard Abyss where I need to adjust my teams and understand the game's mechanics, understand the full kits of characters, understand elemental application and all things like that, right? And adjust my stuff, adjust my rotations and all kinds of things, maybe adjust a build or two to more fit the Abyss, right? That's a tough Abyss that you can overcome, and you can feel your sense of accomplishment that you overcame the Abyss, right? But this one, and the whole Natlan thing, is just annoying. It's just FOMO and guilt-tripping to pull for the Natlan characters or the new characters that are absolute power creep city. And then, again, it just becomes annoying for that small percentage of players that play the Abyss and want to have fun in the Abyss. It's so dumb. So yeah, I have to rant about this because this Abyss is exactly that. You didn't pull for Escoffier, even though she's 2 weeks away from her banner appearing. Fuck you. Just like that, fuck you. You do not want to pull for Zilon and the OP support to have an easy time with the automaton. Fuck you. Like, that's how it feels. So, like, yeah, what can I say? Fuck this Abyss. This is one of the worst Abysses. It's not tough. It's just artificially difficult and annoying because of the huge HP multiplier, plus the multiple enemies that have high HP pools and constantly have high resistances or damage reductions, and it's just hell. It's not fun at all. So yeah, overall, this Abyss sucked. It is absolute guilt-tripping and FOMO for Escoffier and Zilonen, and perhaps even Navia if she reruns with Escoffier, which is kind of likely because of the buffs, and it just does not feel fun to play. I always replay the Abyss again to test out teams so that I can give you tips and stuff against enemies and whatnot, and it feels usually fun, but with, after the Natlan patches, it's just not it because of the Night Soul bullshit and the power creep that is happening with characters because they simply have really busted constellations and busted numbers. As simple as that. Just take things a chamber at a time and just do it like that, genuinely. You're gonna need to either push a ton of damage. I think the first time that I 3-starred this Abyss, the first half was my Xiao team, as I said, full on Prime Xiao team, just doing as much damage as possible. And he easily takes care of the automaton because he can, have his plunge attack. He can jump high. And then second thing was, I believe, my Nuvilette teams, funnily enough. Although the first half, I think I did 3-star with a cryo team. Just 3 cryos, or that are Lequidno team, was the main way I got 3 stars on the first chambers, and then I just brute force things with damage on the other ones. Although, again, I will definitely suggest, if you gotta build Hu Tao, Zhongli, and Albedo, and you've got some good EM boosting characters like Fischl with an elegy for the end, really good teams, a really good team for the first chamber and the third chamber. She shreds the Hydro Tulpa and takes care the fastest with the local legends. Anyways, let's get to the Imaginarium Theater, shall we? Which was not good. Guess what? Because the elemental combination was dog shit. Holy fuck. What is this elemental combination? So, let's start off with that. So, the elements this time was Pyro, Electro, and Anemo. Why? Overload? 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 For who? For whom? Like, you're going to play 2 rounds of Imaginarium Theater, 2 acts with Severus, and then what? All Electro characters want Dendro to boost their damage, and all Pyro characters want either Hydro or Cryo to boost their damage, so what the fuck? And then Anemo characters are kind of a mix, but even then, what are they doing in Overload teams, honestly, right? Or if they're an Anemo DPS, which they gave Xiao in the trial characters, they just need Anemo, right? They just need Faruzan mainly, and then buffing characters, which I guess you'll get Bennett, and I guess Ian-san, and then that's it. So what was this combo? And let's speak of those trial characters. First off is Yoimiya, which I mostly hate her gameplay, but my goodness, her build was atrocious. Now, she was using Shimenawa, as she should, but because she has a Rust, and it's an R1 Rust, she deals no damage whatsoever. Without a Xingqiu or anybody to maybe get some Vaporize hits there, she dealt no damage whatsoever. Following her is Toma, who's using Kitane Crossspear, which is not a good weapon, honestly, for Toma. Just use Favonius Lance with him. He's running Noblesse, which is okay for buffing, but you should use Shimenawas in order to get some ER on him, and you should use any HP set in order to make his burst, in order to make his shield stronger. Do not use Noblesse. And yeah, I did not use him, but my goodness, this build sucks. Then there was Chlorine. She was using Finale of the Deep, which is a pretty good weapon for her, and I believe she was using the Bond of Life set, which is good, but she also dealt no damage because she didn't have any proper characters to play with her unless you were using Severus, which I'm not, because I think I do have Severus, but I don't have leveled up. So yeah, she sucked to use. Then there's Beidou, who is using the Royal Greatsword, which, my fucking goodness, why? She's also using Thundering Fury on Beidou. Why? You're not going to on-field Beidou to constantly have her skill. She's off-field with lots of energy recharge so that her burst deals damage. My goodness, why? And then followed that is Xiao with the Deathmatch and his set Vermilion, which is fine. And then Sucrose with Veritas and Sacrificial Fragments, which is fine. So like, holy fuck, these trial characters sucked if you don't have them. Yoimiya dealt no damage, and without Hydro at all, she dealt 0 damage. Toma was as good as just a crystallized shield because of the build. Chlorine also dealt no damage because you don't have Dendro here, and unless you're running Severus, and the build just was not that good. And then Beidou, my goodness, was just a nightmare. Thankfully, I have my own Beidou, but my goodness, what the fuck. So yeah, and the enemies, the bosses, don't even make things better, baby. The first boss was the Icewind suit, and I believe it was Coppelius. So you just need Pyro here, and Electro will also deal damage to him. So thank fuck, that's easily done. But the second boss is the Papilla, of course. Oh, for fuck's sake, what do they have with this boss? Oh my goodness. So Electro and Pyro. So, you know, there's one Pyro character from Netherland to use, that's Mafuika. And then for Electro characters, we do have 3, thankfully, but if you don't like them, go fuck yourself. So, okay, there's Varesa. There's Ian-san. Okay, she can fit into many teams. Okay, that's good. Although I don't know how much Night Soul application she has to, you know, make things with the Papilla easier. And then there's Ororon. There's no Hydro characters in this Imaginarium Theater, so Ororon doesn't do anything against the Papilla. Great! So, good luck. Also, yeah, the Papilla. It's electro-resistant. So Varese is doing less damage. So for whom is this Imaginarium Theater again? So yeah, what the fuck? Genuinely, what the fuck? Like, wow. Why? Why is the Papilla here? Again, Pyro characters, we only have the Traveler. Who the fuck is gonna use the Traveler? And Mavuika. And then the Electro characters, either you have Odoron, who does not do any Night Soul hits because there's no Hydro characters, or you've got Ian-san doing God knows how much Night Soul applications he's going to do. And then Varesa, who this thing is Electro resistant. So she's not going to be doing a lot of damage. So like, wow. Insane. Following the Papilla is the Hydro Tulpa, because I guess they love this thing, this patch. Okay, that's fine. Free Vaporize for Pyro characters. I mean, Electro Charged, I guess, for Odoron. Or anybody else. I mean, Electro is not going to really take advantage of the Hydro application it's got. So it's mainly a Pyro thingy. Okay, that's fine. And then the last boss for the Visionary mode. It's Asimov. What is this thing doing here? It's Asimon. What? People, in order to break Asimon's thingy, you will either need Hydro, because some of its things are like Dendro applied, so you can actually spawn blooms and do Hyper Bloom and hit it. But there's no Hydro characters. Even in the extra characters, by the way, that you can invite, there's no Hydro characters. And then for Dendro characters, you need to have either Yao Yao or Al-Haytham, because they're not on the trial characters, because, you know, it's Pyro, Electro, and Anemo. You need to have a built Al-Haytham or Yao Yao and keep them for the entirety of the floors until you get to Asimon, because they are the only Dendro characters in the entire thing to actually break Asimon's thingy. Why the fuck is Asimon here, generally? What the fuck do you mean? Why is it needs Catalyze? Catalyze needs Dendro. Why the fuck is Asimon here? And remember, this is Imaginarium Theater. In order to get the star, it's tougher than the Abyss. The time limit is not as lenient as the Abyss. So again, what the fuck is this thing doing here without Dendro? So yeah, I'm pretty sure I just kept my Al-Haytham and Yao Yao for the entirety of the thing until I got to this thing. It's so dumb. That's so fucking dumb. Who thought of this? And by the way, the other two extra characters are Mika, which... Why? Like, he's going to be the only Cryo character, so that your one Electro character, who is Razor, is going to play physical? Like, and for who else? Who else is going to use Mika's attack speed buff? I guess Scaramouche? Okay. I have no idea why Mika was there. And then Zilonen, because of course. And I guess Zilonen is going to do okay against the Papilla. I highly doubt she has the Night Soul application to do anything really good against the Papilla. So like, sure, but again, you need to have these characters and have them leveled up to invite them. So like, holy shit. So I guess invite a friend's Al-Haytham or Yao Yao if you actually want to do the Asimon, because you're not brute forcing this thing with damage unless you've got like 665 stars with this invisibility bullshit. So yeah, that's Imaginarium Theater and the Abyss of April 2025 or version 5.5. Both of them sucked majorly. The enemy lineup is dog shit in floor 12. The HP inflation is insane. And Imaginarium Theater had one of the worst elemental combos, because there simply are no characters that won't overload. And the enemies just made things worse on top of that. So, great! Anyways, thank you for watching. Next up is of course going to be the version review. The stream is in a few days as far as I know, so we've got 1.5 weeks until the version drops, and I should be back at my normal setup to record a good video for that. We had a new area and stuff, so we're actually gonna have plenty of stuff to talk about, thankfully. And do not expect an IFA review. My goodness, they butchered his kit and numbers so badly. He's so fucking useless. Oh my god. yeah, do not expect any Ifa review. I was gonna do it if he had an actually good kit, but he does not have one. So good. And then I don't really care for Escoffier. She is absolutely busted for Cryo. So if I get her, maybe if she is with Ifa, I might snipe her. Who knows? And I don't know, get her. And I don't really think she will either get a review of her because her kit, if you don't follow leaks, I mean, you're gonna see it in the stream. Her kit is basic as all hell, completely basic, but she is of course just giga maxed with just features and stuff in order to make her overpowered, of course with numbers as well. She's just there to be overpowered, and like, wow, well, the kit itself is basic as all hell. So even if I get her, do not expect a video on her. So yeah, character reviews staying in the back, yay. And as for Skirk, oh goodness, she's Cryo, she's got some bullshit, and of course they're gonna make her work with a Scoffier, so she's only gonna need Cryo and Hydra. Fuck out of here. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you loved this 50-minute 50-minute unscripted stuff. This is what happens when you don't have a script. You just ramble on and on and on for hours on end. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in another video, and goodbye.